At the heart of Australia's political system is one document written over 100 years ago. That's it. Just one document that is the very cornerstone of our political system. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this document and what it means for the governing of our nation. My name is Caterina Sullivan, and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Let's rewind to the late 19th century, a time of nation building and political awakening. At this time, British settlers had established a number of colonies, but hadn't established a governing system to oversee all of these colonies. It was decided that in order to improve life on this continent for the settlers, the colonies should be federated. Australia stood at a crossroads, and the need for unity and cohesion became increasingly apparent as the colonies grappled with shared challenges from economic instability to defence concerns. Recognising the strength in unity, some of the colonial leaders embarked on a journey towards federation, a bold endeavour aimed at forging a single, cohesive nation out of colonies. By federating, Australia sought to harness the collective strength of its people, creating a unified voice on the world stage and laying the groundwork for a fairer, more prosperous future for all. With the colonies on the path to federation, the need for a unified legal framework became apparent. Enter the Fathers of Federation, visionary leaders from across the colonies who came together to draft a constitution that would lay the foundation for a new nation. Over several conventions and intense debates, the drafters hammered out the details of the constitution, balancing the interests of the states with the need for a strong federal government. The drafting of the Australian Constitution involved a number of key players, each contributing their expertise and vision to shape the future of our nation. Notable figures included Sir Henry Parkes, known as the Father of Federation, whose impassioned advocacy for national unity galvanised support for federation across the colonies. Other influential delegates at the constitutional conventions included Sir Edmund Barton, who later became Australia's first Prime Minister, and Alfred Deakin, a staunch federationist. These leaders, along with many others representing the colonies, engaged in spirited debates and negotiations to craft a document that balanced the interests of the states while establishing a strong federal government. Their collective efforts culminated in the drafting and the eventual adoption of the Australian Constitution. As Australia was part of the British Empire, the Constitution required approval from the British Parliament and royal assent from the monarch to become law. Queen Victoria granted her royal assent to the Constitution on July 9, 1900, marking a significant milestone in Australia's journey towards nationhood. This act of royal approval cemented the legal foundation of the newly federated nation and established Australia as an independent and self-governing Commonwealth within the British Empire. Fast forward to January 1st, 1901, and Australia officially becomes a federation with the enactment of the Constitution. It's a momentous occasion marking the birth of a new nation and the culmination of years of hard work and negotiation. But the story doesn't end there. The Constitution is a living document, evolving with the times and reflecting the values and aspirations of the Australian people. The Australian Constitution serves as the bedrock of our nation's legal framework, outlining the structure, powers, and functions of our government. Within its pages lay fundamental principles, such as the separation of powers between the legislature, executive, and judiciary, the distribution of powers between the federal and state governments, and the protection of individual rights and freedoms. Throughout our history, we've seen numerous referendums aimed at amending the Constitution, from expanding federal powers to recognising First Nations people in the Constitution. Referenda play a crucial role in our democratic process by providing a mechanism for constitutional change. They allow the people to directly voice their opinions on proposed amendments to the Constitution, ensuring that any alterations reflect the will of the electorate and maintain the integrity of our democratic system. As of filming this video, in Australia's history, there have only been 45 referendums. Only 8 of those have passed. The most recent referendum was held in October 2023. It was the first referendum of the 21st century. Referendums require all voting citizens to vote on changing the constitution and require a double majority to pass. This is different to passing legislation, which is done by democratically elected politicians on behalf of the citizens they represent. For more information about referendums, including the most recent referendum, you can find my referendum playlist on my channel. The Constitution was written by white men over 100 years ago. Now, we live in a far more diverse and inclusive society today. So why does the Constitution matter? It's the blueprint for our democracy, safeguarding our rights and freedoms and providing the framework for how our government operates. And even though it was written by a very specific demographic over a century ago, the Constitution has relatively stood well against the test of time, with the majority of Australians only voting yes on 8 separate occasions to change the document. Now, I will be the first to admit it's not a perfect system, but there are provisions for us to work on changing the system and making it more applicable to and functional for our current society. From the separation of powers to the protection of individual rights, the Constitution ensures that no branch of government becomes too powerful and that the interests of all Australians are represented and respected. If you found this episode helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your family, friends, colleagues, teachers, and more. Please subscribe to my channel for more content on Australian politics, including future videos on how the Australian political system works. Comment below, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever read the Australian Constitution in its entirety? Remember, understanding the system isn't just important, it's empowering. So let's stay engaged, be part of the conversation, and make our voices heard. In the next episode of this series, we will look at the monarchy and its influence on the Australian political system. See you next time.